Hello and welcome to another Best Junglers episode, this one for patch 2510, and boy, we actually have a massive shift in the jungle meta. Finally, they have done something about Nefiri. You can use your imagination, but they did it. Vi as well, being reduced and removed because of her permanent presence. Couple other changes here and there, AP itemization shifts, and that means there's a whole bunch of new junglers that you can use to carry, win, and climb. We will cover the best overall as well as for low and high MMR, and the best champions always play best when combined with the best jungling knowledge, and for that, you absolutely must head to Virkayu.gg. Not only do I have a free jungle improvement resource, I also have a dedicated program with jungle video courses, jungle coaching, coaching classes, a jungle VOD library. We already have a lot of community VOD reviews and coaching classes for Season 15, sharing all the tips and tricks to reach new peaks in this season. All the fundamentals you need for right now are available in a ridiculous amount of hours for content tailored for your MMR so you can climb to reach your peak rank as fast as possible. So to hit your peak rank in Season 15 and jungle diff every game you play, head to the link in the description below or to Virkayu.gg. Alright, first up here on the S tier page is Jarvan the 4th. And people saying, well, I thought you said there was a meta mix-up. I did, but it wasn't the first pick. Well, you know, technically Nefiri's gone, but yeah, Jarvan is still here because he has not been affected whatsoever by everything else going on around him. He's just looking at Nefiri being nerfed and Sharp being nerfed and all these champions being buffed, and he just doesn't care. He can full clear gank and still apply the same pressure he's always been able to apply, and until, you know, jungle systems change or matchups that specifically counter him become super popular, which isn't the case right now, he will always be at the forefront of the meta. Or of course, unless they nerf his passive again, which honestly, if they do that in 2 to 3 months, you'd be like, oh well, circle of life. For now though, the only circle related to Jarvan is his crater around the enemy ADC. Next up is Talon, and I've been saying this unskilled abomination has been an unskilled abomination for years, and thanks to a lot of other people also picking up on this recently and pushing out the videos, you can see it, clearly. I made a very detailed guide about it last year as well, saying, look guys, if you want to climb, learn to play Talon, and yeah, it does require a bit more jungle knowledge, but the mechanics are simple. I know some people disagree, but I don't think how you can when it's point and click, and you can escape and get over any wall, much like a Kayn can. Plus a slow, plus bleed damage, plus an invisible ultimate, plus you can escape even once you've gone in. You know, all the things that a good assassin wants to climb solo queue. Regardless, the meta is better now with less forcing of those objectives. We have those grubs, thumbs up, amazing. We have the Herald, thumbs up, amazing. But in that dead time, that's when Talon thrives. That's when villainy thrives because he's going to be stealing your buffs, stealing your life, and diving your laners. And on that timely note, Echo is once again right here. Now, fortunately in the last video, you all heard me put him there and I said, I really like where he is. I played it, I faced it, I talked to other people about it, I said, this champion is looking pretty good in this meta, given what we have. And now they went ahead and buffed Nash's Tooth, 100 gold less, buffed Lichbane, 300 gold less. Now some people will say, but they removed the AP, but they removed the needlessly large rod. You know, it's in the name, it was needlessly large, and deblasting one of the build path, costing basically almost a kill less, is the best way to go in terms of that singular item spike, allowing you to get into the Nash's Tooth. And if you aren't someone that likes to build both of those things, the death cap is also 100 gold cheaper as well. Your items were directly buffed, he was already in a good spot, the meta's in a better position for him because dead time between objectives equals tracking and counter ganking. If there were awards for the best counter ganking jungler in the game, it's Echo, because a 2.25 second flat stun on that W means once any champion has decided to use some ability in a gank and you're sitting in the bush and you timed it perfectly, they die. And now they die faster, quicker because your items are cheaper, and more potent because you get them sooner. Kha'Zix is an interesting one because there's always a lot of debates a little bit around the rune set and the itemization, but these are really personal preference choices that have upsides and downsides in both cases compared to each other. The most important thing about the champion is, since the last round of buffs, it enabled a bit more flexibility in what you choose to go. And yeah, we do have the Conquer build path, always, if you're a Gurren, go for it, otherwise, you know, it's just better to be an assassin to climb with solo queue. But many times it's overthinking, just keep it Dark Harvest, just keep it Ghostblade, keep the Opportunity, the Edge of Night, the Cyrilda's Grudge or the Lord Dominic's, flex the Serpent's Fang. Get your farming under control, too many Kha'Zixes force the issue, you're not a Talon, you do not have to abide by that kind of tempo. Your tempo can be measured in a different way, and sometimes that's just getting your level 6 efficiently and then obliterating everybody. The cleanup ganks you do get on Kha'Zix, the rotations you do get to get 1 or 2 kills, that's what you then use to snowball and get in people's faces, because very few can beat you one-on-one. Nocturne, when built properly, is one such champion that doesn't care too much about the Kha'Zix because of your spell shield, because of your fear, your movement speed, and the fact that you do build full-on bruiser and you have a low cooldown ultimate. ADCs die, Assassins can cry, and all it takes for you to do that is just lock him in, farm 6, get your grubs, ping-pong the dragons and objectives, and kill people on repeat with your ultimate. Most junglers will not track your ultimate usage properly to counter gank it early. If they can, good on them, but most of the time your smart pathing should give you the results you desire. This is not an immensely sexy pick, I understand that, but bring forth the darkness to bring forth your LP gains. Now we're talking because Evelynn is back on the menu, boys. And, that kind of works very well for her champion archetype, succubus. But cheaper itemization is good, same thing with the Echo. But of course, in her case, not the Nash's Tooth, please never do that, I will find you. Just go Lich Bane into Death Cap, 2 items, much less cost, you need 1 less kill to get 2 item spike. Think about that in the context of a quieter game. When you've been sequencing well, maybe you've just got 1 or 2 kills because it's a quieter game, you're just trying to get super duper strong. The fact that you can get those 2 items with 1 kill less basically is absolutely massive. And of course, if you have 1 kill more, 2 kills more, then you get it sooner as well. So it really works in all situations, full AP, full damage, full assassination, full sequencing, and again, less fighting over objectives with a champion that doesn't always want to fight without her ultimate or fight in the open field. So once more, that downtime allows lethal counter jungling, lethal invades of enemy junglers, and of course killing bot lane between the 2 turrets. Now you won't always have the best turret damage, but be sure to actually hit them. With Lich Bane and Death Cap you do a fair amount, get kills, push waves, push into the Nexus. Many Evelynns lose with 20 kills because they have 0 turret damage. Not saying you need to do 10,000, but a couple thousand, a few hundred here and there, it adds up. And people of course are not ready for the W second max discussion. I released the first ever in-depth guide on the rework here in 2017, and it was a W max meta because the spell was, much more powerful back then. But nowadays, even so, with E being great, good for full clearing, W second has a 3% higher win rate and has done for a little bit. So yeah, you can love your all-in potential with your QE combos, but if there's less mobility against you or chunkier people where you need that MR shred from the W, then please, by all means, go that second and just eviscerate people. Much like Elise is now going to eviscerate people, but a little bit more in the early game, basically replacing the Xin Xiao in terms of that high-pressure jungling, but she does scale a little better, in my opinion. Mostly because, Cocoon, Repel, and a lot of percentage damage of all types. Here's the thing though, even though she doesn't always buy Death Cap, she can, and it's cheaper. Even though she doesn't always buy Lich Bane, you can, and it's cheaper. Even if she doesn't always buy Nash's Tooth, you can, and it's cheaper. And if you want to buy Storm Surge and go Dark Harvest, you can also buy that because it's cheaper and now has 2% more movement speed, so that is most likely going to be a little bit of your default itemization. Sure, they removed the gold bonus, sure they removed the movement speed on the passive, but it doesn't matter. Now it's just flat up all the time, get around the map faster, and kill people quicker. It doesn't matter really which Elise archetype or playstyle you like, every single one was buffed, and as such, she's pretty damn good. Graves is also pretty damn good because things that get in his face and irritate him and don't allow him to be Graves no longer matter. Well, they were nerfed a little bit, but also, as I said last patch, the lack of the second grub pit and the delay of the first grub pit means that Graves is much more able to do what he likes to do. Be a piss-annoying little worm jungler getting in your face, using that range, getting in and out of your jungle for lethal counter jungling. And remember my friends, if you decide to cut for that dragon and leave, say, a quadrant up on second rotation or third rotation, that's when Graves jumps in, steals it, and doesn't care that you took the dragon. And that's when he gets these huge 2-level leads on you by denying you and counter jungling you. Before that, he would 100% have to consider that you'd be in the area for the grubs or be in the area for the dragon, or you'd have at least that under control because of it. And while he doesn't enjoy that, like he doesn't enjoy the AP junglers always, he's still pretty damn good also. Next up, we have Pantheon, because, it's Pantheon. I know people are always shocked about why isn't he played more. He's actually a little bit tricky to play. People don't always use his empowered abilities correctly. They don't use his man drop testicular slap on face ultimate ability correctly either. He's got amazing point and click gank setup for whatever lane you want to go for. He's really flexible into many different roles. And also again, he's got that scaling armor penetration on his ultimate, it's passive obviously, that allows him to just eviscerate and kill immobile mages and AP damage doers really easily. Obviously Elise's Repel is a bit of a problem, but all the champions on that S tier page, he's good into because he can stop them in their tracks, actually bounce them with his shield, and then he can kill them with his empowered Q. The champion is just goated all round and strong. Also Hex Drinker does help. And for any My Little Pony enjoyers, yeah, he's still here. Easy to climb to master with in terms of getting, your grips to the champion in the meta. Doesn't really care too much about anybody else. You have enough self-sufficiency in multiple different ways with your build path and playstyle. He is the way to climb, in my opinion, where your champion just won't be banned because people are too busy banning the other stuff, and he can honestly navigate most matchups with a little bit of grace. Even in shitty ones, he's still going to be in a good position. Kindred likewise returns from the grave and the dead. Well, no, she was never really dead, but you know what I mean. She hasn't been in a tier list in a while. Enough things have not gone away. We now have champions that actually don't like Kindred, especially because of the ultimate. You know, Talons, Echoes, Kha'Zix, Nocturnes, Evelynns, Elises. When a Kindred shows up with an ultimate, or a Kindred's able to use a range component, and really their mobility and sustain DPS, max HP, missing HP, what do you do when that kind of champion shows up to kill you? And that's also why Best Junglers is a lot representative of not only the strongest champions, but their counters and who plays very well into how the game is played in the moment. Fiddle, fiddle, fiddle. He has been fiddled with by Freak and the Balance team in an unholy way to nerf the support. Base damages are down, base CC is down in the queue, but scaling is up. And as a compensation, scaling is up on AP for the W also. So while the AP damage nerf on Liandry's does suck, there was a buff to Rocket Belt, other AP items have been buffed, I don't feel he's really unholy weaker. It does change your reality around the queue, but remember that damage and everything now scales the stronger you get. So in essence, a good Fiddlesticks will be rewarded for getting more fit early rather than a passive low econ Fiddlesticks. Master Yi is here because surely I could put Lilia. Now most people will comment where's Lilia instead of listening to me. Lilia is great, win rate sucks, but she's great in low elo, she's not even doing very well in high elo though. I still think the champion is solid. If you play it, carry on. However, Master Yi is more objectively better in terms of data, more objectively better in terms of how you can carry in solo queue because he's still face roll. All those buffs that he got, now he is ready to use them. Great snowball, great dodging, great true damage, great meditation. I don't know, stick insect go brrr. Volleybaba has his data slightly shifted, but guess what? We don't care because we build the same way we've always built, which is basically which one of the 25 different ways you want to build him. Whether you're a Virkayu Trinity Force Titanic build enjoyer, which objectively is definitely not the strongest build you can go right now, just something I prefer to play with, or you go the Cosmic route with better itemization that way, or you just prefer to go Sun and Sky, more mega, sustained tank, whatever. It doesn't really matter. He is good, he farms well, he skirmishes well, he snowballs well, his damage is nutty. Black Cleaver is an underrated item on him. Overall, in a good spot, not dominating, but still powerful enough for you to climb no matter your rank. Viego's here because I feel like you can still carry in solo queue with him. He just has so much more downside, so much more weakness, so many ways to actually deal with him. But a good Viego is navigating that with great power and responsibility. Bad Viegos are just dying and losing, so his data gets compromised. At the end of the day, if you play Viego only and you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm only Emerald, I'm only Silver, I'm only Diamond because of Viego, you would be lying to yourself. It will be harder, not denying that. It just means that the champion isn't an auto win, so more respect to you. Go and climb. Nunu and Willem are absolutely ridiculously strong, have been for the longest period of time. A lot of OTPs have been great success. Again, I know AP can work, inverted commas. Please just stick to your regular hybrid builds with tank itemization. The Liandry's nerf doesn't affect you too much. If you want to try the Rocket Belt, you may feel free to do so. That is a classic item on him. Just please don't go Bloodletter's Curse first. Why would you have Magic Penetration early? It isn't useful then. And even then, you shouldn't build it later either. But nothing that what Nunu wants to do in order to win has changed, so carry on winning with it. And now for the low elo page, and you're gonna say, but there's Kayn! Kayn was nerfed, you didn't even put him in the other tiers! Yeah, because I fear for his doom. You think it was a minor nerf, and it is, but it's not a minor nerf when you buff everything else, they can just straight up kill him. It doesn't matter when all those champions have percentage HP damage in their kits. It doesn't matter when you run into a Kindred and they just destroy you one-on-one, but in low elo, those things aren't problems, so you can still play him. Much like Nocturne, Amumu, Warwick, he's obviously good here, Feet Lady is fine. Lilia here, still good, because the nerfs to Liandry's and the nerfs to Lilia in general, the buffs to the meta, they don't affect low elo as much at all, they never do. Focus on your jungling, focus on the skill you have with your champions, and then you will climb to gold. Just don't overthink it, keep the champion pool nice and tight, 3 champions max, get to gold, and then think more deeply about which champion pool you want to activate for that carried climb. You will have a better idea about your playstyle at that moment as well. For high elo, boy oh boy do we have a shakeup. Basically between Echo, Pantheon, and Talon, pick your poison of death and despair because they will provide it to you. Talon's data looks really inflated, so I'm sure that will go down. I hope it will go down, otherwise he will be hotfixed, but yeah. Very, very strong along with the Graves. Nefiri still performs okay up here, but I'm just looking at it and going, you know what? What an absolute failure and abomination of a rework here yet again from Riot Games. The champion just recently designed has to be completely altered and they still missed the mark. Such is life, but the Xin Shao still looks good here as well because those kind of nerfs for the scaling don't really matter too much. You can still easily close the game out. You're not going to worry about those kind of nerfs in high elo whatsoever. I love the Elixir. Also, you could play Lily and high elo. It's not going to be a problem. Obviously, those first timers or casual Lilia players will suffer the most, but the skillful ones will be absolutely fine. Its win rate just isn't great at all, so I'm not going to put it here. And of course, My Little Pony strikes once more. So a nice little shift in the meta with the removal of the OP champions that have been broken for a couple patches. Nice little shift in terms of the AP junglers that you can now play, especially from the assassin position. And as always, to make sure you can climb the best, you need to know the ultimate way to jungle in the early game, and the video on your screen now will give you that juice.